Hello, hello. Thank you all for waiting for this lovely presentation. I hope the wait was worth it all. I am going to make sure that my little pointer now is working. Not everything can work at the same time. We all know this, right? Okay. So if you have not gotten a handout, or if you are at home, welcome to all my watchers on channel 970. I'm glad you tuned in. But if I do have handouts here in the pack, Chip just went and made some more copies. So there are two different handouts that you can get eventually. They are not accessible at this very moment. We are waiting for the copy machine to start printing out more. So stay tuned on that, and then we'll also have them available down in the fitness area as well afterwards. So I think most of you know who I am, but I'm Tara Welcome. I am the Life Enrichment Manager here at Mercy Ridge. I am in the fitness department along with my team, Chip and Martin, and you will see my Vanna White here soon, Chip. He will be doing some demonstrations of some certain classes that we offer and some exercises, so you'll get to see his little debut up here soon. But just a little overview of, oh, come on. It was doing so good. My speech and everything was going. To my assistant in there, Kaylee, can you hit next? Thank you, much appreciated. So a little overview of what we'll talk today is just in general why we're really getting on the importance of balance here today. I think there's very big reasons as to why that I don't need to talk about, but it's never bad to go over it 1,000,001 times. I am going to talk about some fall stats, overall ones, and then some that are actually specific to Mercy Ridge. Also, our balance class that we offer. I know a lot of times, unless you've been there, you have no idea really what it can be, and balance class can be intimidating. Balance is intimidating. So I promise we don't make you stand on your head on there, but sometimes it does feel like going on the outside that it can feel that way. So hopefully puts your mind at ease if you haven't tried our balance class before, and talk a little bit more in depth of that as well. And then also some exercises to improve balance. So if you don't want to do balance in a class, there are many other ways on how you can still practice your balance, and even at home, or if we're maybe not ready for balance class yet. So this is especially all for those home people. I see you. And then also for you all who would rather just do a workout at your home. All right, next. Kaylee. All right, oh wait, I missed one, excuse me. There we go. So why is it important for balance? Having balance means you are preventing falls. It is preventing your risk of injury. It is preventing hospitalization. I know many of us has been in the hospital. It's not fun. We don't like it. Let's try to minimize it, right? It also helps our physical stability, and it helps balance our joints. So if we are unbalanced, we are putting more pressure on one side of our body or the other side, and that makes our body even more uncomfortable. So longevity, and also you look nicer when you stand tall, right? So these are all things, and it keeps you independent for a longer period of time. So it keeps making you do, or letting you do what you want to do throughout your lifetime. And then go ahead next. And then why do we fall? There is 1,000,001 reasons why we fall. Sometimes we fall because we are in the wrong place at the wrong time. There are times where we all just have a trip up, and you can't prevent it. It just happens. So don't put shame on if you do have a fall. It does happen. I've fallen in the last 6 months, and just because I slipped, and it just wrong place at the wrong time, and it happens. But another big reasons, though, are muscle weakness. If we have weak muscles, our balance is automatically out the window because we can't be able to pick our feet up. I'm sure many of us are familiar with shuffling our feet when we're not picking that up. That can cause a fall right there. Joint pain, I'm sure many of us are also familiar with that. That also can cause limited range of motion where we're not able to bring our body, our legs up as high, or it limits our movement as we walk. Low vision, that also affects our obstacle detection in front of us, and same with depth perception. So if there is a change of level, like a step, that you can't see, then that's a bigger risk at us falling. Also, our inaccuracy with proprioception, so lack in body awareness. We might think we're taking huge steps, but really we are, again, doing that little shuffle, which sometimes just happens. Medications, if you're usually taking 4 or more medications, you're at risk, at a higher risk of falling. They have a lot of side effects. Sometimes they even affect with each other. So definitely talk with your doctor about that if you are taking many, just to make sure that it is not causing a higher risk of falling. But it also can cause dizziness. It can cause lightheadedness depending on what you are taking. So those all can be different reasons why medications can cause them. Environmental hazards. So a lot of us, not a lot of us here, because I know we just had a home safety presentation last week about this, but sometimes we have those loose rugs. Sometimes there's just something that's on the ground that we trip up. Also, poor footwear. If we are wearing shoes that do not fit us or they are worn out, they can also cause us to fall, as well as just different health conditions that we achieve as we get older. And not even just because we get older, sometimes we just unfortunately get certain diseases. Neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, neuropathy, ALS, all of these can cause a change in your gait, and also when it comes to your cognition, that can also cause a change in your balance. Also, if you don't practice balance, that's going to make you not be able to balance. If you don't do it, you're not going to be able to, okay? And that's all the big reasons on why we do fall, but let's now find a little bit of stats, and then we'll talk about how we can prevent these falls. Thank you, Kaylee. All right, so some overall and general fall stats, just to scare y'all straight a little bit, but then bring you back home with us. Falls are the leading cause of injury for adults ages 65 and older. 1 out of 4 adults ages 65 and older falls each year, but less than half actually report to their doctor. So it's probably even well over that 1 out of 4. 1 out of 10 falls result in an injury that restricts your activity for more than a day. And that is something we want to not do. We want to be able to do what we're doing every day. And now we've got a little bit more stats about Mercy Ridge. In the last month, we've had at least 20 falls here at the Ridge. 16 out of these 20 falls have occurred inside of their apartments. A lot of times this can be due to the transitioning, trying to get to the toilet and missing the seat, or trying to get up from a chair. Any type of those transitions, getting out of bed or those type of things can also, are sometimes a trigger as to why these falls happen inside. We also spend a lot of time in our home, especially if you don't get out much. Those falls are gonna, if they happen, they're gonna happen more in your home too. That's also why it's important, if you do use a walking device, make sure you are still using it in your home and making sure that you have space to use whatever you have to help you stay upright. We're averaging, though, right now about 30 falls a month. We've had about 453 falls in the 15-month period from January 2025 to 2026. And this is just what's reported. So I'm sure many of us, I hope not, but I know some people, wink, wink, have not reported their falls, and you just get up and not say. So I know that these stats are very probably inaccurate, and it is a little bit higher. But what we want to see is lower, and we have not seen that change. So that's where our goal is, to try to decrease these falls as much as possible. And that's why I want to talk to you about our balance class. So if you have not came to our balance class, we offer it every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 1:15 in our group exercise room. If you have not been to our group exercise room, if you know where the hair salon is, it is right next to it. So it's right there. It's the first floor of Shannon if you use the single elevator, and it's down past the hair salon, down a nice long hallway near our pool, which is also a great place to practice balance. It's 30 minutes. That's all the classes. It's just 30 minutes long. We keep the setup. It is circled in a circle structured seating arrangement where everyone has access to a chair. So you are holding onto a chair the entire time if you wish. So I think that's a lot of times many people's fear in balance class is, I can't balance, and I do want to emphasize that you do have a chair that you can hold on to help that. We do use a balance pad also to help practice with our balance. I'll go into this a little bit more, but this is what I mean by a balance pad. It is a squishy surface, so if you stand on it, it helps replicate a different type of surface area, so like really thick carpet, grass, dirt, sand, anything like that. Anything that's unsteady surface is a good representation of that. We do not just balance, so you're not just standing on your leg the entire time. We do 1,000,001 different type of exercises that all contribute to your balance. Muscle strengthening, we do a lot of just strengthening our muscles. Practicing balance we do as well. Dynamic stability, coordination, and proprioception, we all tie that in together. Best thing about this, I would say too, is that we try to target it to all levels. So if one person is not really comfortable with standing on one leg, we give you many different variations on how to do it. So everyone is in the class is at their own different level. You are worrying about yourself, what your ability is able to. Whoever is next to you, they might be at a completely different level. So, and that's okay. And they're practicing their balance as to where they're at, and then you're practicing your balance where you're at. So always know that you come in and you do what you need to do to help what feels good for you. We will never yell at you if you are not doing the exact same thing that we are, or if one exercise is just does not feel good to you. We're very comfortable in letting everyone do what they need to that feels safe for them. Yes, I think that's about it for that. And the best part about it is you can hold on at all times. Next, Kaylee, thank you. So our balance pad, why do we use it? Like I said, we mimic unsteady surfaces. So that thick carpet, our grass, sand, if you're walking outside, sometimes those different walking paths are different, and we have to adjust to whatever we are stepping on. Also changing of gradients. So if we're transitioning from carpet to all of a sudden hardwood, or hardwood over to carpet, those are all things that can help mimic with that balance pad, so it helps prepare you for those different changes. So we also use it as a tool of things that we can step over as well. But it is something though that if you do not want to step on the balance pad, you can do everything still on the ground. If that's the level you're at, forget the balance pad and you can stay on just the hard surface, and that's perfectly fine as well. Next, thank you. Good. So muscle strengthening, some different exercises that we do practice in balance. We do all things that help build our muscles that contribute to our balance. And with this, basically the foundation of balance. So if you have stronger muscles, you're going to have better balance right off the cusp there. Mr. Chip over here, my Vanna White here, is going to come up and do a little bit of demonstrating, though, just so you can kind of get an idea of what we will be doing. So let's just give him a nice round of applause, just to welcome here and make him feel nice and comfortable. So first, we do examples. Calf raises is one that we probably do in every one of our class, where, again, you are holding on for balance the whole time, and it's just going up on your toes. This is something, though, that it is important to do where you are stepping up. If you're using the stairs, you need that oomph in your calf to be able to make that next step up, and then same going forward. So That's a good strengthening muscle to help, and then also with good ankle stability and just leg strengthening in general. Thank you, Chip. Squats is another one. In my balance class, I make sure that we do squats every single time. All of my classes, squats, squats, squats. It's so good. It's so good. Just like how Chip is doing. But again, you have that chair. You only need to go down as far as your knees go. I know some of us have those bionic knees and they don't go down as far, but do what feels comfortable. How many times you go to the bathroom, you're squatting. Anytime you have to get in a car, you have to squat. Anytime you sit down to go to dinner, lunch, breakfast, get into bed, get out of bed, that is squatting. So that is why it's important. And without that, that causes a little risk of our balance. Thank you. And then we also do some core exercises, postural exercises, and this also helps contribute to our posture and balance, because if you're leaned over like this with poor posture, where is your body? It's forward. Yes, you're going to topple over. So if you are practicing our posture, so going into a row, if you're squeezing your shoulder blades together, those are things that's going to help with that posture. And these are something that we do sometimes in the chair too. So you do get a rest break every now and then in balance class, and you do get to be seated. Same with core exercises, and this is usually done seated. Doing any type of core work of just sitting up tall. This one exercise that I do in my class is a lot of times we're on our big comfy couch, and when we're at our big comfy couch, we're slouched and we're like, yeah, this is the life, right? So a lot of times though, our upper body gets lazy on us, but then we start to sit up, and then even going around, moving around your body right on that comfy couch, that is also working, engaging all of your core muscles. So these are all just examples of what we do in the class, just to name a few of just the strengthening stuff. And this changes. My class, Chip's class, Martin's class, we have a bucket of different exercises that we basically pick from. And so you might never get the same exercise, or it might just, every week might be something a little bit different, unless you get squats, because you always get squats from me. And again, without muscles though, we don't have any balance. Let's go to the next slide. Thank you. And then we do practice balance. So we do practice some feet together when, again, this is all done with the chair right in front of you, and you choose how much you want to hold on to. But you can start with your feet together. You can also do heel to toe. There's also a semi-heel to toe, where that is one foot halfway in front of the other. And that is also a good transition. So if we're not here yet on that full tandem balance, this is a great transition to start to work on that balance of that semi-tandem. And then same with that feet together. Having that feet together, if that's something that we're not quite there yet, having our feet a little bit apart, that also helps narrow our base of support, but also helps us have to challenge our stability. So those are just a few things. Single leg balance is another one that Chip will demonstrate, and that's whatever you think it is. It's balancing on one leg. But again, with balancing on one leg, if that is not comfortable, I always recommend you can do it with your feet still kind of resting. You're doing a little offset type of movement there, where you're not putting all of your weight into one leg. But if that's challenging for you, that is still helping, that is still improving your balance right there. So just because you can't do a full exercise does not mean that you are in the wrong or that you have to give up on it completely. So then there's dynamic stability. So we're not just standing in place the whole time. So we also do some proprioception exercises. You can go to the next slide, Kaylee, thank you. And so sidestepping and step overs. This is something that we might use our balance pad for, just as a visual cue. So there's ones where we're stepping up onto the pad or over. Whichever one you want to demonstrate, Chip. So there's one where you're actually practicing in this sense, actually stepping onto an unsteady surface and then stepping off of it. Doing a step over, you can do it where he has it horizontally placed, or you can turn it sideways where it's a little bit smaller. This is always one I say that we can practice. I have a dog at home, Finley, many of you might know about, and he likes to stay in one place, and he will not move for nothing. So when I have him next to my feet, I have to step over him. but it's good to practice all of that muscle memory and to gain that movement with our feet to practice taking those big steps and kind of knowing where our feet are. Again, balancing on uneven surface, so using one of those pads and just standing up on top is something we might do, even with just both feet, and that's it, just standing on there just like that, and that's something that we might do in that class. If we're feeling crazy, or if you're feeling up for a little more challenge, and you don't ever have to do this if you're not comfortable, but sometimes we will close our eyes. A lot of times when we fall, it's going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and we can't see very well, so we might bump into something. So having your eyes closed, that's going to help practice. And then also just changing direction. So if you stand off of the pad there, Chip, and then just doing a movement where you're changing direction, turning to the left suddenly, and then coming back to center and turning to the left. Excuse me, the other way. Thanks. Thank you. All right, on to the next one. All right, so a lot of it, though, we're wondering, is balance class for you? And that's always a good question. If some of these exercises feel comfortable, or if you feel just comfortable in general doing any type of balance just with a safety of a chair, and again, you can hold on to that chair as much as you can. I do want it to make sure that if you are holding on to the chair and doing some of these exercises, that you still don't feel unsteady. If that is still something you're holding on and you're really kind of still getting really wobbly there, that might be something where come in, talk to myself, Chip, or Martin, and we can try maybe doing a one-on-one and see if that might work better, and then we can then progress you to the balance class. But if these are exercises that you feel comfortable doing, please come and see us. We'll change it up for you, and we always give different directions on how you can do the balance class at your own level. And so I always say it's very important, and you always might get to meet someone new there as well. But eventually we will. Right now we offer just one standard type of balance class, and again, that's Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 1:15. We are looking into possibly doing different levels of balance. So if you're not there yet for standing on one leg or doing those type of balance exercises, we're going to try to do more of an introductory type of balance, where if you need to just be seated a little bit more, we'll start there until it starts feeling like you're ready to get into maybe a level 2 of a balance, and then maybe an even advanced one. So stay tuned on that, but right now it's just one type of balance class, but we are looking into that hopefully in the next few months. But again, if this sounds pretty good for you, please come try it out. If you don't like it, you don't need to come back, but we are down there, and I will say between all of us, we try so many different exercises in there that's good for you, that one class is never usually like another one. So I always recommend to come at least 3 times, and then if you don't like it then okay. But there are alternatives to the balance class. You can go to the next one. We have our seated classes, sit and tone. That's another 30-minute class. That's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 o'clock. That is all in the chair. You don't even have to get out of the chair once you get in it. But we do exercises with a stability ball. We use TheraBands for that. And that is a great way to help get your muscles kick-started into getting stronger as well. Thank you, Chip. That looks great. We also have total body stretch class. That's on Fridays at 10:45. That is a brand new class, but that is something that's going to help with your flexibility. Again, that is 100% seated in the chair. It's very important to have good flexibility to stretch our muscles. If we have tight hamstrings, all of a sudden we can't stand up tall, and then we're not able to walk properly. Same if we have tight hip flexors, then you're not being able to pick your feet up high enough. So those are other classes that would be wonderful for you to try as well if you're trying to work on your balance. Individual sessions with myself, Chip, and Martin, we would love to see you. We usually take appointments for about 20 to 25 minutes, and we can roll you through some exercises. We can stand with you to make you feel safe if you just don't feel comfortable standing on your own. And then also practicing in the water. if you haven't forgot, we do have a pool downstairs. It is 90 degrees. It feels good. You should come and use it. And it also doesn't hurt to fall in the water. It feels good. So that's another one that you can practice your balance. There's little bars that are on the side of the pool that you can even hold on and practice different things. So that's another way that you can try out balance without worrying about falling. And if you don't think you're even there at any of those, contact physical therapy. Kelly from our rehab department, Health Pro Heritage, they can set up an appointment with you, an evaluation, and they can see what you need. They sometimes then will give a list of exercise for you to work on, and then they might send you to us and we might continue it. So those are all just a million different options. And we also have our fitness center. We do have a balance gym down there, and it's basically a big, how do I describe this? It just has railings on both sides that you can hold on to and stand in the middle of it and practice your balance. So then if you feel or wobbly, you have something that holds on to you, at least 3 parts of you. So that's another alternative that you can do if you're just not a class type of person. And then we can go into the next page. And then we've got all of the exercises at home. If you want to just stay inside and you want to stay in your apartment, by all means, stay there. That's okay. You can do exercises at home. First things first, though, and I just always have to say this, is make sure your pendant's on you. Where's your button? Is it on you now? Probably not, but it's close. But have that on you, especially if you're going to try to do balance exercises at home. You want to make sure that you're available just in case something happens. And that the area that you have is a nice open space. If you're using a chair, make sure it's a sturdy one. If it has wheels, don't even touch it. But you can do 1,000,001 different exercises just in your chair. So some seated exercises that you can do, just sitting up tall in the chair and then just marching. Just doing a knee raise nice and slow and controlled. That's a way that you are controlling that body movement, but also building muscle into those legs that we need to pick our feet up when we walk. Leg extension, so if we're trying to kick that leg out, that's going to build strength also in our quadriceps in the front of our legs, which is very important for balance. And then doing step overs. You do not have to do step overs only standing up. You can do them in your chair. This is something where if you just sit closer to the front of your chair, you can imitate that step over by picking your foot up and over an object. If you don't have an object you want to step over, it can just be air, but sometimes it's nice to have a little visual cue to do it. And then you can try it on one side and then try it on the other side. You got to make sure you do both so you don't get lopsided, but it still works. And then some clamshells. You can do this with resistance, but you can also do it without resistance by keeping your feet together, bringing your knees apart, and then back in. When we're walking, sometimes our gait starts to walk. We start walking heel to toe like we're on a balance beam before we even have to balance. But sometimes we have weak abductors, which is the muscles outside of our hips, that helps us walk in that straight line, but also giving our feet space. So this helps work and engage all of those muscles out to the side there. And then some leg stretches. So again, a hamstring stretch is always really important along with the calf. Just bringing out that leg and that heel on the ground and then coming forward until you feel that stretch in the back of the leg. These are very important, again, to even keep us up tall because that will affect our back as well. And then sit to stands. This is another one. I want everyone to always do these. You don't have to do them right now, don't worry. But this one, just standing up and sitting down. If this is really hard to do, start with arms on the chair and help use that with assistance, getting up and down out of a chair. Have a chair in front of you that if you feel like when you need to stand up, you need something to hold on to, that's okay. And then as you work, you can get a little bit lower of a chair, or you can try without using your hands like Chip was just doing. So find what works for you. You can work on to start at level 1 and then work to level 2 and level 3 of that variation. And then you can go to some standing exercises. You can do a lot of these at your counter, again, or behind a chair like Chip is going to be demonstrating here. But what we just did sitting down, now we can try standing up. So again, those calf raises that we already demonstrated earlier. And then those marches, lifting those knees up high. This is very important, again, so we prevent that shuffling of our feet, so having that big knee raise. And then some leg raises, so going and kicking out to the side, just like that, good. And that helps, again, build that muscle on the side of our hips, kicking back behind. And then also, if you wanted to, you can do a knee bend like Chip just did. And then also doing a kick forward. That's even one that you can do, keeping your legs straight. Good. Thank you, Chip. That was beautiful. And then also, in terms of these, again, we already mentioned squats, but side stepping and then step overs, we mentioned that we do in balance. But this is something that you can practice, just holding on to your counter and just practicing that side stepping, going side to side, or walking even forward. Practicing walking forward, it can just be more of those bigger steps. That's going to help reintroduce that muscle memory to pick your feet up, right? So those are some great just ways of just doing muscle strengthening exercises that are just as important as the balancing part. And again, meet your body at its current ability level. Don't shame it for where it's at. Just start where it's at and go from there. And that's, as long as you keep working at it, that's all that matters. And it's not better, you're not going to help yourself if you jump to level 3 of an exercise if you don't start at level 1. And then, thank you, Kaylee, for the next one. And then just balance exercises. I have a handout for everyone, so if you want to use it, I do have some instructions on all of these. But I mentioned this earlier, but doing, these are some different levels, but we have, again, our feet apart. That's level 1, where if your balance is too much to put your feet together, having it a little bit separated, that's a good way to start. And then to then narrow our base of support, bringing our feet together, that's going to make it a little bit more challenging for balance. Next one is doing a semi-tandem balance, one foot halfway in front of the other. That is another good variation of that tandem balance, which is our level 4. That is one foot completely in front of the other. And that is the most challenging type of balance that you can do, besides standing on one leg. So those are all just different levels on how you can practice your balance all in one way, but start with where you are, and that's all you need to do, and then you might surprise yourself. And you can go ahead, Kelly. Thank you. Thank you, Chip. Everyone give him a round of applause for great demonstrating. And then as we close up, though, if you haven't met us before, these are some beautiful photos of us all. This is our fitness team. We do have wonderful lifeguards here with us as well. Nina and Quinn are downstairs in the pool, so if you do choose the pool as one of your exercise options, you will get to meet them as well. But we are here for you, so if you're not sure about balance class, or you have more questions about it, or just anything, we're pretty good at technology too, if you'd like to go there too. But come down and see us. Call us here, or even better, come and visit us down by our office. Our classes are down there, our fitness center is down there, so you'll get to see at least one of us, and we can schedule an appointment. And then we can also help figure out what type of program might work for you. And we'd be glad to have you, and it is also a good walk to come see us. And that is it for today. Does anyone have any questions for us? Yes, Fran, I'm going to have you use the mic if that's okay, just so everyone at home can also follow along with us. Hi, Fran.
Okay, hi. So let's say we're doing muscle strengthening exercises, a leg lift, for example. How many seconds, I was always wondering, how many seconds should we hold our leg up in the air, whether it be to the side, to the front, to the back? How many seconds do you recommend?
That is a great question. So it is, I always say it's a good start to, if you're doing just a leg raise, for instance, just coming out to the side, even holding it just for even a second, just so your muscle gets fully activated there. And it also helps control the come down as well, so you're controlling it downwards. But usually about a second. You can make it more challenging if you're seated, or if you're doing like a march and you lift your knee up and you want to hold it for 2. That's obviously going to be a little bit more challenging, and that's okay. But a good baseline is about a second at least, just to make sure you're doing that full range and it's not just kind of going straight down and it's not too fast. But good question. That'll help you out there, Fran? Okay, wonderful. Any other questions? Yes.
Are any of these programs on 970?
No, not currently. We don't have any of these currently on Channel 970. As we know, 970 has been a little wish-washy before we've gotten this nice, lovely new stuff. So we haven't had the time or the space to be able to put it back on there. It is also for us to turn it on to 970. Where you have to turn it on is at the complete opposite side of the building where we are. So in terms of actually being able to do the action is very hard for us when we also teach class at the same time. We have though been putting, if you look at our Cubigo daily messages, we have been putting exercises in our messages. There's little links, so if you have an iPad, you can always click on those and you can present, and we have different exercises. If you have a smart TV at home and it has a YouTube app that's already installed on there, we can also, if you give us a call, we can come and also direct you to all of our links. We have balance videos, we have toad and stretch videos, we have seated exercise videos. What am I missing?
There's a dance one, we just haven't put it up, and there's gonna be a sit and stretch
A
next
sit and
week.
stretch one too,
Yeah.
yeah. So we do all of those on Cubigo, so until we are able to ever put it on Channel 970, there's some different things that we're in the works on trying to do on terms of that, but right now we're just keeping them on Cubigo. But give us a call though if you want us to give you a link to the YouTube. We do have a Mercy Ridge Fitness YouTube page that has all of our videos on there. And then check the Cubigo messages, because we always have something on there that's different.
So if you go to the news, you know how like you get the announcement for the day or something, it's on there. And then if you go into the message, it's a blue link and it'll say, work out with Martin today, work out with Kaylee, work out with Chip, something like that.
And we always label our Cubigo messages fitness news and whatever the date is. And then we'll, right at the bottom of our message, always we'll have 2 links. We'll have a guided meditation on there as well. Thank you. Any other questions? Sure. I like comments too.
About my hair.
I would never exercise by myself. I will admit that. I don't care how good the video is. I love the fact that these 2 people are funny. They joke, they keep us laughing. Martin, you want to sing along with him if you only knew all the words that he does. And it's joyful being with people to see the different levels of balance. I mean, there's a 94-year-old lady in there today. She wasn't holding on. I thought, dear God, I'll never get that. But it's so much fun. So much fun.
Oh, thank you.
And your husband's there too.
When they come to class too, sometimes they sit at opposite ends of the class. We always have to ask if they're fighting, and it's just, no, they exercise separately. But thank you. Yes, we do try to make class fun though as much as possible. So if you have been in any of our classes, we do try to make it not just about exercise, but we try to keep it light and just fun to make you keep coming back to. I wouldn't know if we're really that funny, but if you think so, that means good.
And balance is probably the more serious class.
Yeah,
So
we
if
don't
you do
talk as
come,
much in that one.
because we're not trying to distract you the whole time, there's less talking in balance. Because if you're looking around at the room, that means you're probably not focusing on your balance. So that is why balance will be a little bit more serious
Yeah.
than probably the other ones.
We're chatty in the beginning, and then we get chatty when we're sitting down, when we don't have to worry about it anymore. But don't worry, it's still fun though, I promise. Any other questions or comments? I'm okay with that too. Yes, Gail.
Thank you, dear. I just wanted to let people know that along with balance, you have to take care of your feet. Because there's
Yes.
a lot of people that have calluses and things on their feet that it's really hard to, like, stand on your toes.
Yep.
So you have to have the little pieces to keep your feet comfortable so that you can do the different
Yep.
things.
Yep, that's a very good observation and a good comment. There's a lot of reasons why our feet, we can't feel. If you have neuropathy or anything like that too, you might not be able to feel the bottom of your feet as well. But definitely make sure you're looking at the shoes that you're coming to class in, but also just in general and what you're wearing. If it's really wearing down, definitely take a look and put in the little extra oomph in getting a new pair of shoes. Your feet will be happy. And if you have any questions about your feet or any discomfort with it, always make sure you reach out to your doctor. They always know a little bit better than everyone, but definitely always reach out though. If you have any questions, let them know and they can help direct you in the right way. Same with physical therapy. Kelly and Health Pro Heritage, they can always do some evaluations to figure out some culprits as well too. Thank you, Gail. All right. If you end up having any other questions or anything, please reach out to us. Again, we have our number that I'm blocking right now here. And then you can also come down and see us. We'd be happy to give you some more information anytime. And then we did print out some more copies of the exercises that I gave you for home. So if you did not get one, do not fear. We have some more here. Anyone at home that wants to have some, we will have them down in Fitnessland, or you can come and call and we'll put some in your mailbox. Thank you all so much for coming to today's session. I hope you got a little something that you could take with you today. If it's something that you might be able to take with you and tell your neighbor about, also feel free to pass on the wealth of knowledge. Thank you again, and I hope you have a good rest of your Tuesday. Bye, guys.